They won't warn you before they betray you. They'll smile, shake your hand and wait. Wait for the perfect moment. When you're tired, distracted, open. That's when they strike. In this world, it's not truth that matters. It's perception. You don't need to be broken for people to want to break you. You just need to look breakable. Machiavelli didn't survive because he was the strongest. He survived because he made it impossible to even imagine hurting him. His power wasn't just in strength, it was in image. If you want real power, burn this into your mind: never bleed in front of wolves. Even if you're falling apart, break free from these chains. Make them believe you're ready to tear the room apart. They don't target you because you're weak. They target you because you seem weak. There's a difference. Machiavelli didn't write about defending yourself against enemies. He warned about looking soft in front of them. If you want to become untouchable, your first step is simple: destroy the illusion of vulnerability. The world doesn't care about your pain, only your posture. You can be bleeding on the inside, but if people see it, they'll use it, they'll study it, they'll poke at it, then they'll strike. Machiavelli said, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. That means it's not about what's real. It's about what you make people believe is real. So you must master the art of appearing unbreakable, even when you're quietly falling apart. That means no public meltdowns, no emotional rants on social media. No, just being honest. Moments with people who haven't earned your trust. Suffer in silence, because every time you show weakness, someone is paying attention, and they're not just watching, they're calculating. Speak less, observe more. The more you talk, the more ammunition you hand over. From these chains, let people guess what you're thinking. Make them wonder. Unpredictability is terrifying. Silence is power. Machiavelli believed survival didn't go to the strongest. It went to the ones who couldn't be read. Control your emotions. Strip them out of your decisions. Because emotional people are predictable. They blow up, they apologize, they regret, and then they repeat. Not you. Your motto is no longer, how do I feel? It's, what does this accomplish? Being nice won't protect you. Being strategic will. Let go of your need to be liked. That's how manipulators get to you. Machiavelli famously said, it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Don't chase their love. Make them respect your presence. When people fear disappointing you, they obey. When they love you too much, they take advantage. Cut off anyone who wants too much access, because access is control. The more they can reach you, the more they can read you, and the more they read you, the more they'll find your patterns, your habits, your weak spots. Protect your space like a fortress. Be warm, but distant, friendly, but unavailable. Let them see the idea of you, not the whole picture. Legends are powerful because they're rare, mysterious, selective. Being untouchable starts with limiting your exposure. If they believe you can be hurt, they'll test you. They'll push until you snap. But if you become unreadable, if you turn yourself into a mirror they can't decipher, they'll hesitate. And that hesitation, that's where you win. Free from these chains. Power isn't about being the biggest. It's about being the one they don't dare touch. People won't dig past the surface. They don't want to know the truth. They want a story they can understand quickly. So give them one from these chains, and make sure it's the version of you that scares them just enough to stay away. Because in the end, it's not the truth that defines how people treat you. It's what they think is true. Control the image. Control the outcome. Most people sabotage themselves by oversharing. They explain. They justify. They try to make people understand them. And they call it vulnerability. But it's not. It's exposure. And exposure is weakness in the wrong hands. You don't owe anyone your raw truth. You owe yourself leverage. Craft your identity like a weapon. Be seen how you choose to be seen. If you want to be respected, then show no cracks. If you want to be feared, make silence your threat. Every word, every movement, intentional. Revealing too much gives others power over you. The more they know, the easier you are to map. And once they map you, they'll test you. Again and again. That's how empires fall. So always leave something hidden. Let them guess. Let them wonder. Let them talk behind your back about what you might be capable of, because the rumors of your power will grow in silence and shadows. Machiavelli warned you people are guided by appearances more than truth. Use that. When you're anxious, look calm. When you're uncertain, act decisive. When you're planning revenge, smile like a friend. Deception isn't cruelty, it's protection. You're not trying to hurt them. You're refusing to let them hurt you. These chains, this world doesn't reward the honest. It rewards the unreadable. You can be strong and still be treated like a joke if your image is weak, and you can be soft inside, but be feared like a god if your image is ruthless. So design your persona like a shield, one that reflects intimidation, not desperation. Your posture, your energy, every single part of you is communication. There are no accidents anymore. Everything you do sends a message. When you enter a room, make it feel like something just changed. When you speak, make it feel like a consequence. And when you're silent, let that silence burn like a warning. You're not just a person anymore. You're a presence. And presence makes people hesitate. That's the leash. That's the sword. Perception. Control it. And you become untouchable. Lose it, and you become a target. Build your image like a fortress. Guard your weakness like a secret. Guard your intentions like a weapon. These chains, never let anyone get close enough to study your cracks, because once they do, they'll know exactly where to hit when it counts. You must become your own myth, a presence they feel but never fully understand. Let them see the armor, not the wounds underneath. And remember, thistles, from these chains, every version of you they see should be powerful enough to keep them guessing, and distant enough to keep them reaching. Loyalty sounds beautiful until you realize it's a leash. Machiavelli knew the truth. Most people are afraid to admit loyalty is rarely pure. It's transactional. People are loyal to their interests, not to you. The moment your value fades, so does their commitment. So stop expecting loyalty to protect you. It won't. Power protects you. Control protects you. Don't build emotional attachments. Build leverage. If someone stays loyal to you because they like you, that bond breaks the second they don't. But if they stay loyal because they need you, or fear the consequences of losing you, that loyalty lasts even if they hate you. From these chains, that's the truth no one wants to say out loud. You don't want fake friends. You want solid leverage. That's what keeps people in check. Don't fall for kind words, warm hugs, or long histories. Most betrayals don't come from enemies. They come from people who once said, "I'd never hurt you." So stay 10 steps ahead. Control what others need from you. Become essential or become dangerous. Either way, they won't risk crossing you. You must be the one who holds the rope, not the one dangling from it, trusting others not to let go. Machiavelli didn't put faith in loyalty. He put faith in power dynamics. He understood this: the moment you depend too much on someone, you've given them the sword they'll use when they're desperate. So, keep people close, but not closer than your ability to walk away. Never be the one who needs. Be the one who is needed. If someone does you a favor, repay them with strength, not submission. Never grovel. Never owe too much. Always keep the ability to leave, because the person who can walk away holds the power. Emotional attachment is the enemy of strategy. You can love someone and still never let love blind you to risk. Be observant. The most dangerous people in your life aren't the ones who hate you openly. They're the ones who smile at you while they study your weak moments. They're the ones who seem like friends until your guard is down. The untouchable don't build friendships. They build alliances. They understand something most people never learn. Even the closest bonds can be shattered by ambition, jealousy, fear, or desperation. So they prepare for that day. They don't promise forever. They prepare for exits. They don't assume loyalty. They monitor patterns. They don't hope for the best. They plan for the worst. From these chains, because if someone ever flips on you, you won't panic. You'll already have their replacement ready. You'll already have the upper hand. That's how you become untouchable, not by trusting people blindly, but by making sure your position is secured even if they walk away. You must be so prepared. From these chains, so coldly strategic that betrayal doesn't ruin you, it merely activates you. That's what separates the broken from the unshakable. Hesitation is a luxury you no longer get to have. Emotion is the weapon your enemies want you to use, because the second you start feeling, you stop thinking clearly. Machiavelli didn't act out of emotion. He acted out of necessity. He didn't romanticize revenge. He strategized it. That's what the untouchable do from these chains. They don't react when they're angry. They wait until they're in control, because when you strike in rage, you miss. But when you strike with calculation, you end the threat. The untouchable don't get revenge to feel better. They get revenge to eliminate problems, not half measures, not drama, just results. If someone crosses you, don't warn them, don't argue, don't flinch, end it, burn the bridge, lock the door, cut them off from your resources, your influence, your presence. Don't yell, don't beg, just remove them like a surgeon removing rot. And when you're done, walk away like nothing happened. Let them live in the silence of your aftermath. That silence, it'll be louder than anything you could have said, because when you strike with precision and walk away with calm, they'll question everything. That doubt is your new leverage. Mercy is for the innocent. The people who try to break you don't deserve your empathy. They deserve your distance and your silence. If they didn't want the consequences, from these chains, they shouldn't have started the war. Let them drown in their regret. Don't fix their conscience. You're not here to teach lessons. You're here to win. And winning doesn't always mean fighting loud battles. It means making your enemies irrelevant. If they lie about you, destroy their credibility. If they sabotage your name, ruin their reputation with truth louder than their gossip. If they try to steal your opportunity, take away their future from these chains. Not because you're petty, because you don't leave unfinished threats alive. Because the untouchable know if you let your enemies survive, they come back stronger. Half measures are invitations for later wars. Machiavelli wrote, "A ruler must be both beast and man. The beast strikes without fear. The man calculates with precision. Together, they form the perfect weapon. You must be calm, emotionless, lethal. That doesn't mean you're cruel. It means you're focused. You must learn to control your emotions like tools, not be controlled by them. Let anger drive your discipline, not your decisions. Let betrayal drive your preparation, not your tears. Your enemy must never see the effect they had on you. If they believe they shook you, they've already won from these chains. But if they hit you, and you don't even blink, if they try to damage you, and you upgrade, then you've taken their only power and turned it into fuel. And that's how you win, every single time. From these chains, you must become the type of person who smiles with calm precision even while planning to dismantle the very foundation of those who tried to cross you. Not because you love destruction, because you know mercy is wasted on people who tried to destroy you first. When you strike, don't leave room for retaliation. Don't send warnings. Don't ask for understanding. Look back. End the threat. Finalize the message. Burn the bridge so thoroughly that even the memory of connection becomes ash. That doesn't mean violence. It means psychological dominance, economic suffocation, social isolation, reputation collapse. You silence their name, erase their influence, and make them unrecognizable in the same world where they once thrived. That's not revenge, that's survival. In a world that preys on the emotional become prey. The untouchable don't play to win fights. They play to end games. If someone dares to sabotage you, destroy not just their attempt, but their ability to try again. If they lie about you, make sure everyone who hears the lie only remembers your truth. If they come for your position, take everything they thought they'd gain and raise the bar so high they can't even reach it in their next life. Not out of spite, out of strategy, because unfinished enemies return. And enemies with hope are enemies with plans. Your goal is to remove both. Most people waver. Chains. They wonder if they're being too harsh. They go back and forth, second-guessing if they're doing the right thing. But the untouchable, they don't flinch. They act decisively. They act once. And once it's done, it's done. Machiavelli warned, a ruler must learn how not to be good. That doesn't mean evil. It means capable. capable of cutting off threats, even if those come dressed in charm, apology, or history. Because sentiment is where empires fall. You cannot afford to hesitate. You cannot afford to be soft when the stakes are control, legacy, and survival. So what do the untouchable do? They observe, they wait, they plan, and when they move, they do it in silence, like a shadow wrapping itself around the throat of chaos. They don't scream, "Look what you made me do." They act, quietly, completely. And when it's over, there's no room left for the problem to grow back. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. And here's what people won't tell you: the victim will try to make you feel guilty. They'll twist the narrative. They'll cry. They'll say, never meant to hurt you. They'll plead for a chance to make it right. After they try to pull you down, don't fall for it. Guilt is a tactic. It's a subtle way to disarm you, to pull you back into emotional thinking, to stop you completing the correction. But you don't owe them clarity, these chains. You don't owe them comfort. And you definitely don't owe them a way back. Your only responsibility is to protect your position from these chains. If they regret it, let that regret rot them from the inside. You don't exist to ease their conscience. You exist to maintain your advantage. You're not a savior. You're a strategist. You don't get caught up in morality debates while your enemies rebuild behind your back. You don't explain. You don't justify. You execute. You vanish. You rebuild. Stronger, sharper, more unshakable than before. Because the real power move isn't getting revenge. It's becoming untouchable after the hit. The best strikes come without warning. No announcement, no drama, just action. And things silence. Let them wonder what happened. Let them sit in the aftermath. Weapons. Let the silence be your weapon. The world will never see it coming. Because the moment they think they've won, you vanish and leave nothing but confusion in your wake. And that silence, it haunts louder than screams. The untouchable don't seek applause. They don't beg to be understood. They don't need validation for their decisions. They eliminate threats and move on. Clean, quiet, focused. That's not emotionless. That's disciplined. That's what separates a strategist from a servant. You don't play to be liked. You play to win. You don't retaliate for catharsis. You correct for control. Every retaliation, every counter move, it's part of a larger game. And if you play it right, you don't just outlast your enemies, you erase their influence altogether from these chains. And when they look back, trying to understand how it all fell apart, they won't find you. Because you didn't get caught up in feelings. You didn't fight loud battles for show. You played for keeps. To be untouchable, you must learn the ultimate form of invisibility, disappearing in plain sight. Because power is safest when it's invisible. The most dangerous person in the room is never the one yelling, bragging, or drawing eyes. It's the one sitting quietly, watching, controlling the room without needing a spotlight. Machiavelli understood this. He knew that once people know you have power, they start planning how to take it from you. But if they don't know who's really in control, they can't strike. Visibility invites envy. Attention invites sabotage from these chains. But influence without exposure, that's untouchable. You never want to be the storm. You want to be the wind that moves everything without ever being seen. These chains, the hand behind the king, the force behind the trend, the voice behind the decision, not the face. Let others wear the crown, while you own the kingdom. Let them chase applause, while you shape the world behind the curtain. This is how the undefeated stay undefeated. They never step into the spotlight long enough to become a target. They guide the system, but they never become the system. They let others feel in charge, while every step they take leads back to your influence. And that's not manipulation. That's mastery. Mastery is quiet, patient, strategic. It's not about proving you're strong. It's about never needing to. When you're invisible, you're unpredictable. When you're unpredictable, free from these chains, you're unstoppable. And when you're unstoppable, no one dares test you. That's what it means to be untouchable. Stop trying to prove your worth. Stop advertising your power. Stop showing your hand. The most powerful moves, the ones that shift the entire board, are the ones nobody sees coming. Your enemy can't block a strike they never saw. Free from these chains, They can't defend against a plan they didn't even know existed. When you're invisible, you're unpredictable. And when you're unpredictable, you control the entire game. Silence is your greatest weapon. Mystery is your armor. Don't chase recognition. Don't crave the spotlight. The moment they can study you, they'll start preparing to replace you. Instead, operate from the shadows. Be the one who knows everything, but says nothing. The one who influences every outcome, but takes no credit. Because the moment people start watching you too closely, they start studying you. Your patterns become visible. Your image becomes a target. So pull back. Detach from the need to be seen, praised, or validated. Your identity, it should be a mask. Your intentions, unclear, unreadable, untraceable. That's how you stay ahead. That's how you stay untouchable. When you become unpredictable, your enemies become chaotic. They start guessing. They start flailing. They start making mistakes. Because they're fighting shadows, not people. And every step they take, trying to understand you, freeing these chains, takes them further away from power. The untouchable don't just win. They let others destroy themselves, trying to understand how they win. Because no one can fight what they can't see. No one can beat what they can't predict. You don't need to make noise. You need to make moves. Let others chase attention. Let them build their thrones on applause and approval. You build in silence. You move in silence. And your results scream for you. When others rise fast and burn bright, they draw fire. But you stay low. You stay strategic. You stay dangerous. You're not here to impress. You're here to orchestrate. Let others speak loudly. Let them expose themselves. Let them play the public game. You stay cold. Stay in control. Build a foundation no one can shake. Let them forget your name. Let them misjudge your silence. Let them think you're not a threat. Because when they see you again, it'll be too late. Your success won't need a face. Your dominance won't need a label. Because behind the scenes, you're pulling the strings. This is what Machiavelli meant when he said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." But here's the truth he didn't say outrighting, it's best to be neither, and still control both. To be the one whose name is barely spoken, but whose influence is felt everywhere. That's the highest form of power. That's the ultimate mask. Let your face be unknown, but let your fingerprints be on everything. Because when people don't know where the power really lies, they don't know where to strike. They fight each other while you rise. They burn each other down while you build in silence. You don't need applause. You don't need credit. You don't need followers. You need leverage. You need control. And you only get those things when you stop trying to be seen and start learning how to move unseen. Be underestimated. Let them think you're slow. Let them think you're harmless. Let them think you're distracted. And when they finally lower their guard, strike with precision, power, and permanence. Because that's how domination works. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't announce its arrival. It simply becomes undeniable. Your power should feel like gravity, not fireworks, not flashy, not loud, but constant, unshakable, inescapable, free from these chains. The kind of power that bends everything around it without saying a word. Let people feel your absence more than your presence. Break from these chains. Let your silence shape the room more than their shouting ever could. You're not building a personality. You're building a legend. One that doesn't need to be everywhere. These chains. One that doesn't need to explain itself. One that doesn't need defense. Because it's built so far above attack, it's not even reachable. That's what the untouchable understand. That's what they live by. And now you do too. The untouchable don't walk into rooms needing to be liked. They walk in, assess everything, say very little, and control the tone without lifting a finger. They aren't ruled by emotion. They aren't thrown by chows. They don't chase revenge to heal their ego. They eliminate threats to protect their status. They play chess in a world full of checkers players. And while others brag about their next move, they've already made theirs. And you didn't even see it. You only felt the effect. Because when you master silence, you don't just win. You win without being seen. You win so cleanly, they don't even know what hit them. And they sit in the aftermath, confused, wounded, free from these chains. whispering your name like a warning. That's the mark of someone who didn't just survive the game, they mastered it. This is what separates the common from the commanding. The untouchable don't need a spotlight, a stage, or a cheer squad. They only need one thing: control of their mind, their moves, their image, and their outcomes. Everyone else is busy reacting, but not you, because now you know that every reaction is a leak, every outburst is a crack, every complaint is a signal to the enemy that says, push harder, you're close. You don't get to leak anymore. You seal the cracks. You contain the storm. You turn silence into suspense and unpredictability into fear, because fear is leverage, and leverage is power. You want people to wonder, what will he do if I cross him? You want hesitation to be their first instinct, not attack. That's the weapon of the untouchable: doubt. Make people hesitate just long enough for you to gain position, just long enough for you to see everything before they even move. That pause, that flinch, that delay from these chains, that's the moment you win. Because in that hesitation, you have the opportunity to act with absolute clarity. They'll still be thinking, guessing, free from these chains, checking the temperature, while you've already made your move and left the table. Power is never about strength alone. It's about understanding the game. Everyone else is too distracted to study. And most people, they're too busy trying to be liked, understood, or validated from chains. They don't realize that the real players, the ones who shape the world, are never emotionally involved. They're not here for connection. They're here for control, not of others, but of the board itself. Let everyone else chase applause. You chase influence. Let others chase love. You chase options. Let others get high off their feelings. You stay cold, ready, unshakable. Because when you're untouchable, you're not above people. You're just beyond their reach. They can't provoke you. They can't predict you. And they sure as hell can't manipulate you. You've studied the patterns. You've killed the old version of yourself that needed to be understood. Now you only move when it serves the plan. You only speak when it serves the impact. And when you act, there are no leftovers, no crumbs, no warnings, just silence and aftermath. Here's the final truth Machiavelli understood. The most powerful man in the room isn't the one who talks. It's the one who listens, watches, moves once, and moves last. He's not seeking attention. He's not proving anything. He already knows who he is, and he's already decided what happens next. The untouchable don't fight battles they don't need to fight. They don't step into every conflict. They don't react to every slight, because they don't have to. They pick the battlefield. They pick the timing, and by the time the other side figures out what's happening, it's already over. They play the long game, and the long game always wins. So what do you do now? You stop oversharing. You stop defending yourself to people who don't deserve access. You stop needing approval like it's oxygen. You build your image like a fortress. You speak with purpose. You move with strategy. You let your presence speak louder than your voice ever could. And when you disappear from the crowd and rise above the noise, not with noise but with control, you'll realize something. They can't touch you anymore. They can guess, they can hate, they can hope, but they can't reach you. You've outgrown the game. You've upgraded from player to architect. You don't show them who you are. You let them suffer trying to figure it out. That's the art of psychological warfare. That's the mindset of the undefeated. That's what it means to become untouchable. If this hit you deep, don't just scroll. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. This isn't just content. This is mental strategy. This is armor for a world built to exploit the weak. Every week we drop raw, unfiltered truths that sharpen your mind and rebuild your focus. If you're serious about rising, this is where it starts. Stay sharp, stay dangerous, stay untouchable, because the next move, it's always yours.